said away, alone all by myself. I'm not just gonna stay here and wait. I wanna just decide what is to be my fate. Alone all by myself, I'm not just gonna stay here and wait.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the first watch party for Auditing Insanity's daily newscast. I know it's complicated. I tried to explain it to Verbo before the show, but this is what's happening. The daily newscast is now a pre-produced thing, so it goes live at 6:30. We will be watching the daily newscast with you, and we'll all be reacting to what's going on with all the stories and everything else that is going on with the daily newscast. So we may pause here and there to talk about the stories. We may not. We may just go straight through, depending on if I'm alone or not during that day. But our intent is to talk about what's going on and give you a chance to provide feedback for some of these stories because they're getting absolutely insane these days. How you doing today, Verbo?
I'm okay. I'm looking forward to the gymception that's about to happen and how that's going to go.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, I better go ahead and pull that up. Because it's almost time for us to launch that. Now, if you don't want to hear the banter and the BS, you can go over to our really cool site over on YouTube or follow the following link. It'll be up and going in about a minute. And just watch the show. Otherwise, you can take it easy with us and talk about the show. This is a reaction show to our own show. And it's a time to... Yeah, it's Gymception. So, I'm putting the link over in chat for both YouTube and for Facebook. If you don't want to hear us banter, go watch it. If not, just stick around. We'll get to it in a second. Once it goes live. And I may as well pull it up too. Hey, look, it's live. It's actually live. Oh, let me pull it up. As I hear my own beep for once that we are live. Now, we have this, the second, once we get past the introduction, we'll go into a segment explaining exactly what's going on. Just wait for it. Because it's a gym thing, it's a chaotic mess, I know. But let's share my screen, and let's get into our very first Auditing Insanity newscast. Whoops. Jim Finch's Auditing Insanity newscast was filmed before a live studio audience of cats. Good morning and welcome everyone to the first broadcast of the newly renamed Auditing Insanity Daily Newscast. I'm Jim Finch and I'll be your host tonight for stories on Alan Jackson totally not throwing up smoke clouds to cover his alleged affair with Karen Reed, Michael Mee saying his name is Reek, and having to service a client who says he's a really bad lawyer. Regan Benson scoring big time from a massive payout in Denver. And, of course, an update on the insane conspiracy that keeps me tied to the GoFundMe report. It's a beautiful day here in north central Pennsylvania. We've got some clouds rolling in, but otherwise blue skies, and the amazing wonder of nature is on full display as I watch from my hermetically sealed viewpoint inside the house as I'm allergic to the glory and wonder that is life. But remember, as Alice pointed out, it's life, or what you get. So go and have a ball. We've rolled out a number of major changes in the past 12 hours, but instead of whining about it here, let's pull up our next amazing segment and have at it in our daily hijacking of the GoFundMe conspiracy column. Let's get into this mess and we'll see you after the news. GoFundMe, DeCastro wins again. Despite the best efforts by the conspiracy to keep me writing this article, Jose Chile DeCastro's Legal Aid Fund, Donation Fund, Help People Fund took the GoFundMe win for Monday. The fund saw $25 in donations come in late in the day, beating out a donation of $20 to our own ongoing expenses fund and establishing a string of wins for DeCastro's ongoing efforts to raise money for his legal defense in his criminal cases and for lawyers to handle his ongoing civil litigation. DeCastro's next court hearing, his appeal of his recent conviction for interference in a traffic stop and obstruction of an officer, will be held on July 10, 2024. Interest in DeCastro aside, it's time for our complete... Okay, this is time for me to interrupt. Listen closely to this segment, folks, as again, this is a watch party for the video that just premiered. The videos will premiere at 6:30 p.m. every night, and then we'll have a watch party starting before it. So this is future Jim talking to past Jim, as past Jim's about to talk. Complete and necessary hijacking of this column in order to announce changes going forward with this channel and how we will handle our nightly newscasts. As most of our regular listeners know, we recently transitioned from a combination of live and pre-recorded segments for the nightly newscast to an entirely pre-recorded broadcast. While airing live on our platform and featuring members of the cast in the side chat for the premieres, the change has brought about a lot of questions from fans and concerns that were rightfully stated. In order to address those questions, the decision was made to release the newscast as a standalone video file each day to our YouTube channel. Links will be made available to our X and Facebook accounts, and then we will have a live watch party each day for the community to have an interactive experience with the cast to talk about the subjects covered in the newscast while watching said newscast. The nightly newscast is also reclaiming the original title of our newspaper and will be now known as Really Cool News Presents the Auditing Insanity Newscast, or just Auditing Insanity. The name reflects our shift in attitude from a straight newscast to something a little lighter, more consumer-friendly, and a little more insane. Individual videos of the articles featured in the broadcast will be released in the hours that follow the broadcast for anyone who wants to avoid our nonsense and just get straight to the news. Also changing is our show lineup. Sundays at 8:55 a.m. Eastern, we will be having a live weekly review watch party. That's followed at 9 a.m. on Sundays with the Week in Review video launch. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern, we will have our live Drunk Gurl Theater. Every day at 6:25 Eastern, we will be starting our live Auditing Insanity newscast watch party. This is followed at 6:30 p.m. Eastern every night by our Auditing Insanity newscast video release. 8 p.m. Tuesdays will see us do our live Lip Hoop Scoop Shoot show, featuring whomever we round up for our exclusive talk show about France and French things and other insane things that we'll probably forget about by the time we get on air. Thursdays and Saturdays round out our live schedule with all-star panels at 8 p.m. Eastern. Remember, that's also 7 p.m. where it counts, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. on the West Coast. We do have a GoFundMe of our own. All proceeds go to keeping the lights on, eating, and writing new stories to feature here and on reallycoolsite.org. Okay, did that make sense?
Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. You have the Sunday voice on.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I've switched to the Sunday voice because I can make it consistent. My normal voice is all over the place, so I'm just going for the over the top because I mean, seriously, I can do the over the top at 4 a.m. if I'm recording. I can't do it in the middle of the afternoon sometimes, so it's just consistent. So yes, Parsons, this is a watch party to watch the newscast. If you just want to watch it by yourself in the darkness of your room, it's released right now over at the link that we just had. Let's see if I still have it. There we go. And now, this is a watch party where we stop after every segment and we talk about things, or we ask you about things. So what do you think of the changes so far? Tell us in the side chat. Or just watch me go slowly insane. As my brain is... Yes, it's auditing insanity. That's what we were originally called for like 3 months when I started the newspaper. And Anthony says, you can watch on a train, you can watch on a plane. And Virgo Wraith is at work, so their interactivity is hit and miss.
It's a man. Virgo and Verbo are not the same person. I'm a lady that lives in California, and he's a man that doesn't live in California.
He lives in parts unknown. And Anthony Caruso is fully overstimulated right now. So, USA! USA! Let's get on to segment 2. Let's see if it gets there. Yes. Reed defense team demands charges dropped. In a Monday news dump targeting TMZ and other pro-Karen Reed news outlets and having nothing to do with attorney Alan Jackson's name out in the news for his alleged inappropriate behavior with client Karen Reed, Reed's defense filed a new motion to prevent 2 of her criminal charges from being retried. The news made headlines on both TMZ and Fox News as Jackson claimed to have new evidence that the jurors were unanimous in clearing Reed of 2 of the charges in the case, based on information provided by either 3 jurors directly or from a friend of the juror in the case who claimed to have access to a group chat with members of the jury. Jackson filed his motion to dismiss Count 1, second-degree murder, and Count 3, leaving the scene of a personal injury or death, based on the information that he claims the jury was unanimous in verdicts of not guilty for the charges. Jackson claimed that while the jury was leaning towards a conviction in Count 2, vehicular manslaughter, because the jurors were reportedly unanimous in finding that his client was innocent of the 2 other charges, trying her again for those charges would be double jeopardy. The trial resulted in a hung jury last week as jurors claimed that they were fundamentally at odds with each other and coming to a unanimous decision in the case. Jackson is essentially asking the court to put aside 2 of the charges because 3 of the jury members supposedly came forward to the defense to say that the entire jury shared their beliefs that Reed was not guilty of counts 1 and 3. Jackson did not provide evidence or affidavits from the jury members in his filing, but asked the court to allow him to investigate the jury's internal deliberations in support of his motion. The prosecution has yet to respond to Jackson's motion. Upon filing with the court, the defense immediately shared that filing with TMZ, Fox News, and other pro-Karen Reed news outlets. This included Larry the DUI guy, Foreman, who immediately blitzed headlines and tweets with "not guilty," despite there being no verdict in the case, as, of course, the case resulted in a hung jury. The request may be delayed if... Gia has asked me to turn off the Twitter feed for on my Discord server because Larry has been tweeting nonstop, and no one else is tweeting today.
Yeah, he's doing rough stuff. I really don't like Larry. I think he's a skeezy scumbag, but I don't mind the Twitter feed in there. It's annoying, but I want to see what he's saying, even though I don't like anything he says.
And he also releases the documents as soon as he gets them. So he just steals them from everybody. I took the 2 documents from yesterday up over in the Karen Reed Redux, I think it's called. retrial or whatever over
Yeah.
on my Discord server. So, yeah, you can read the motion that Jackson and the rest are trying to put forward. But let's face it, he got caught with his D and somebody else. TMZ got word of it, and now he's making a big stink, so TMZ makes it go away. Here, you can have the exclusive. Yay!
Right. I mean, the dismissal was expected. That's an expected defense move. There's nothing salacious or weird or sneaky about that. That's like just like a standard move. But like what's in the dismissal is just total garbage and bullshit. If the jury was unanimous about anything, that would have been the verdict. Like the fact that it was a hung jury on its own means that what he's saying is patently false. Like they are mutually exclusive concepts, and I don't understand how he put any of that in that motion with a straight face. I really don't.
Right. Unless you have an actual verdict, then what he's saying would be true. If they actually came back with an official verdict, they did not. So it can't be double jeopardy or the rest of it we're about to go into.
No, it's hung. The dismissal is a fine defense move. Whatever. It's more than often it's absolutely just disregarded because it doesn't apply. But it would be a dereliction of duty if he didn't try to put in a dismissal just by defense attorney standards, But I can't believe some of the stuff that's been put on the record by the defense team with a straight face. Like I get that defense.
Go ahead.
I get that defense attorneys are allowed to kind of wiggle around and turn the heads towards what's more beneficial to their client under a couple different interpretations, even if that's not the correct interpretation. I get that, but the things that they've said are just patently false. Demonstratively.
Remember, the FBI is coming in to get us all. Any day now. We'll all be arrested.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Okay, let's finish the story. Granted, as Judge Beverly Cannoni, who handled the trial, ordered on Monday the names of the jurors in the case impounded for 10 days. Her ruling indicated that she was protecting the jurors from possible danger, as people associated with the case have been charged with intimidation. While not naming him, the judge's order was directly squared at Aidan Turtleboy Kearney, who has been charged with multiple counts of conspiracy to intimidate, witness intimidation, and picketing. Kearney had promised that he would taint the jury pool before the trial and made what some would consider threats that he would expose the jury's identities if the jury returned a guilty verdict. In response to the judge's order, DUI Guy Foreman released an indignant statement on Twitter claiming that threats from members of the Albert and McCabe families may be the reasoning behind her decision. No mention was made of Kearney. In more Reed-related news, Massachusetts State Trooper Michael Proctor, the lead investigator in the case, was suspended without pay while an internal affairs investigation into his inappropriate comments in text messages during the Reed case continues. Proctor could face charges following the investigation that could be heard by a state police trial board if warranted. So that's why you hate the DUI guy. So, okay, the judge says that some people have been making possible threats against witnesses in the jury, and DUI guy comes back with, "Yeah, it's the Alberts and the Alberts and the McCabes. They did it."
Right? What the fuck, man?
I mean,
no, I don't like the DUI guy from the Deppard case. Like, as soon as that guy came on the scene, I went, "Ugh, that's a slimy scumbag." So my dislike of him.
I just have a feeling that he's one of the paid people who's about to get laid off, as they've been allegedly stopping paying the people they had been using for social media. Allegedly.
Yes, I've heard that. The union did put out a statement saying that Proctor's suspension without pay is solely based on his unprofessional texts and have nothing to do with any outside investigations. It's not retaliatory. It's nothing. It's just because of his unprofessional conduct with those text messages in regards to Karen Reed.
Yeah,
So
I mean, even when I was working for Microsoft, I knew not to blab to my friends about what I was working on, let alone making sexualized
yeah,
comments about coworkers or whatever. You know,
right, right.
despite what
Yeah,
I may have
yeah.
thought of people, I knew better to mix professional stuff with personal stuff.
Right, and I don't condone some of Proctor's behavior. I think that he was sloppy in his investigation. I do think he was unprofessional. Like, I think there's a lot of things that could have gone a little bit smoother that would have had a huge butterfly effect on the rest of this case that I'm not satisfied with, and I don't think anybody should be satisfied with. Um, but I think it's appropriate. I think the punishment for those salacious texts is, I think this is appropriate. I think it's fine. He's getting his public humiliation and shaming, which I think is the most essential part of it, to be honest.
And hello to Karen, Facebook Karen, and hi to Shay. For everybody joining us, this is the watch party for the newscast. Newscast just went live over on our YouTube channel. This is the watch party where we're going to be watching segments from the newscast and giving our feedback and thoughts on the news. We encourage you to participate in the side chat. We will read messages. We will answer questions. And to Anthony, Rose is doing dinner stuff right now. It's a little early for her, but she should be back at the next newscast or the next live show in a couple
Yeah.
hours. 8 o'clock tonight.
Here we have a general chat on the really cool News Wire Discord from Ping Mouse. I wonder if Foreman knows how many people have died in traffic accidents that involve someone under the influence who was driving because she had a license as a result of Foreman winning a prior DUI case involving that driver. Yeah, I think he's a slimy dirtbag.
Yeah. Yeah, the people with the most to hide usually talk the loudest.
Mm-hmm. And I think defense attorneys are an essential part of our justice system. Everybody deserves a robust and spirited defense. It what makes sure that the people that are not guilty, innocent, not responsible are not held responsible. Um, but sometimes some of these defense attorneys are slime bags because their morals are corrupt, not because they want to uphold the justice system and make sure that your constitutional rights are upheld. I think Foreman falls into that category.
Well, let's get to our next news story. Me files DeCastro response. Attorney Michael Me barely met the filing deadline extension on Monday that was granted for Jose Chile DeCastro's response to a motion by the Las Vegas Metro Police Department for a summary judgment in DeCastro's lawsuit against the organization. The response came in later than expected and was released by Pacer a little before midnight on the West Coast, offering the latest reply written by me, but apparently dictated by DeCastro. As Me's style differed from DeCastro's, the narrative remained the same as previous DeCastro written and filed documents. Me, of course, has the unenviable task of having his name attached to a response that argues in part that the LVMPD's claim that DeCastro was convicted of the crimes that he's suing over may be overturned this week on appeal. Of course, one of the main arguments by DeCastro's attorney Christopher Oram, who replaced me as attorney on record in the criminal case, is making the appeal of ineffective counsel by me. So me is screwed, but he's making money at the same time.
Right. Well, I mean, do you think Me ever thought there would be any success with Chile's cases, or he just wanted the retainer?
I don't think anyone is thinking any success with Chile's case. Oram made him pay in advance because they're already figuring it's going to the Nevada State Supreme Court. He announced that on Chile's earlier daily broadcast that Oram is paid all the way through the next one. So even though they're saying they expect a complete overturn and Chile's saying he'll be out of jail on the 11th, he paid Orem for the next one already.
What's his release date now? Like, it's at the end of the month. It's like a couple weeks after the 11th, right? So he's
It's
getting out
like
soon regardless.
Yeah, he's getting out like the 26th or something like that. Let me take a look. It's on the front page of reallycoolsite.org. Literally, I've got
because
a
it keeps
thing
creeping
there.
up a day. It was the 28th, and it's creeped up a few days. I assume good behavior time or something.
Actually, somehow I've deleted it. Where the hell did it go? Oh, Lord. Okay, I believe it's the 26th. So he's saying he thinks he's
so I
out
think
on the
P-Doc
23rd.
has a countdown.
Well, my countdown's
Well,
gone. I
that's
don't know
not
what
going to
happened.
happen.
So, yeah, he thinks he's getting out the 23rd, 24th, or 25th. So let's go back
I mean,
to this.
sure, maybe he might have a few more good time days or whatever. You know, if everybody else is entitled to him there, he's also entitled to them.
Well, you also get time off when you're you also get time off when you do classes and stuff. They'll give you a certain amount of credits. If you take a certain class, you get like 10 days off. So it's if you try to better yourself, you get rewarded for it. So
and
yeah,
he's entitled to that.
Went into part of that.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's entitled to that. And you know what? Chile needs to take some classes. If they're offering anger management, some sort of emotional regulation, therapy,
Right.
anything. That guy can get out a couple weeks early if he just goes and takes a few of those classes, please. I'm
right.
pro for it.
Okay, let's get back to this one. He leaves out the fact that DeCastro is essentially calling him a horrible attorney, and it was his own errors that cost DeCastro the criminal case. He musters enough to half-heartedly guide DeCastro through a challenge against the motion to essentially end the civil case. Half-heartedly, of course, because Me does little to nothing to defend DeCastro's points for continuing the lawsuit, in which DeCastro is demanding $5 million in compensation. Me regurgitated previous points by DeCastro that have been addressed in the past. The main contention, of course, is that the criminal case in Nevada state level court will be overturned on appeal on Wednesday. Me speaks very highly of the possibility of having the convictions in state court overturned and having a massive impact on the federal lawsuit. But it doesn't work that way. DeCastro wasn't convicted of crimes when he filed the suit. While the LVMPD mentions, yes, he was convicted of the charges in lower court, most of their arguments do not hinge on the verdict in the case, nor should they. They're separate cases with no impact on each other, as one is federal and the other is on the state level. Me points out that while the defense says that the video evidence proves that DeCastro was not struck in the groin, as he did not react to having his genitals patted down, the lack of reaction by DeCastro on the video is not proof that it did not happen, implying that DeCastro could have been injured with a strike to the groin and just didn't react to it, despite it being so damaging to his body that he needed $5 million in compensation for his injuries. DeCastro. Okay, let's hit this one. He was supposedly struck in the groin during the pat-down, and it did damage.
He said it was an uppercut to his bits and pieces.
To his bits and pieces. Yet, you see the video where they're patting his groin, and there's nothing.
Yeah, it's
literally
beep, 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 right.
Because
it's on the area, off the area, beep, beep. Just like anybody else. No one wants to touch it. They got to. It's not pleasurable for anybody.
It's like blam. So, how do you get $5 million out of a touch to the no-no place?
I mean, I think the courts have proved over and over again that there's probable cause to do a basic search on you when you're under detainment. I don't think that this is new for any court. I don't think it's a new argument either. People feel violated. They don't like their bits and pieces being touched. They don't like being searched. It's not pleasant and it's not voluntary. And it's been upheld over and over again.
And you think that, well, I had the theory earlier that, his no bits haven't been touched in so long that when it was struck, it didn't know how to react. And if it was actually punched, he didn't react till like 6 hours later.
I mean, we all know he wasn't punched. I mean, that's just very clear. As far as the frequency of his bits and pieces being fondled, I don't know, but I'm gonna err on the side of infrequent. I'm just.
Well, we'll get to Chili. We'll get to Chili and his thoughts on American women in about just a little bit. Yes, because that's our flashback episode. So it moved, Jerry. It moved. Yeah, that's right. DeCastro's supposed ulnar nerve damage is again brought up, claiming that the officers purposely damaged DeCastro's ulnar nerve while restraining him as retaliation for his actions during the arrest and, apparently, for filming the police. At no time does Me offer any actual evidence of ulnar nerve damage, continuing the pattern established by DeCastro. There's no doctor's notes, no x-rays, no diagnosis of an injury, no records of the supposed surgery DeCastro had to have on his hand, just a single receipt from a medical facility that shows he paid for an examination. The rest of the document is a simple regurgitation of DeCastro's pending appeal to the lower court. DeCastro was supposedly arrested for filming the police. The arrest was invalid because the arresting officer issued an unlawful command. DeCastro did comply, even though he didn't comply, and didn't have to comply with the order by the officer to back up, etc., etc. Me is asking the court to deny the motion for summary judgment and grant DeCastro the right to update his response to the motion should he be successful in appealing the lower court conviction on July 10, 2024. And more DeCastro news, as ordered by Judge H.J. Ford III last month, attorney Steve L. Gablin filed a notice of substitution of attorney in DeCastro's lawsuit against Kate Peter, Team Skeptic, Daniel Clement, and Michael Blue Bacon Paratini in California Superior Court. The document agreeing to the substitution was signed Jose DeCastro by Matt DeCastro, who is listed as Jose DeCastro's attorney in fact. The filing was a procedural move, allowing Gablin to represent Jose Chili DeCastro's legal needs in the case while DeCastro is incarcerated in the Clark County Detention Center. Yeah, that was... I know... go ahead.
Matt DeCastro? The fake one or the real one? I thought that was not a real person.
We all thought it was not a real person. There is no evidence that it's a real person, yet someone signed Jose DeCastro in, like, second grade handwriting in cursive. I mean, it makes my handwriting look fabulous, and mine is just now a squiggle. Yeah. And this person who claims to be Matt DeCastro claims to be his attorney in fact. So he doesn't, I don't think it's like power of attorney, but it's sort of like there. So he can sign things for Chili. And in this case, he can actually like turn the case. No,
like
it's actually a no, it's a legal term. PDocs looked it up, but I just didn't read it yet. It's an actual thing in some jurisdictions. So Matt can sign for Chili if Matt is real to give this guy the go-ahead to become Chili's lawyer. I don't know if this is for a full-time thing for this case or if it's a temporary thing. But the judge basically didn't listen to a damn thing that this guy said when he showed up the other week. Just said, you got to fill out a paper before I can talk to you. And now this is the paper. You know, he filled out the paper. So it may have been filed earlier and on time, but the fact is that the California Superior Court site is so twisted and so messed up. Things just appear.
So
and
awful.
Yeah. Yeah, we get
days
it
later.
whenever.
Sometimes you get them immediately. Sometimes it's days later. Sometimes it's like 8 p.m. on a Sunday night, and you're like, "How is this happening? There's not even any
Right,
staff in there right now." Yeah, it doesn't
right.
make any sense.
It shows up when it damn well wants to show up, and then it charges you twice everybody else. So,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
do have some news. According to Pope Phil, our Nevada judges has already scheduled a live for tomorrow for Chili's. Chili's actual hearing in the court case. So
Yeah.
we will probably go with Drunk Girl Theater an hour early, and we will borrow their feed. I mean, we will borrow their feed, and we'll have the Chili News. So we will be borrowing their feed tomorrow at noon Eastern, 11 o'clock where it counts, 10 o'clock on the Mountain Time, and 9 o'clock we're on the West Coast, on the weird coast, the weirdly West Coast.
Hey, West Coast is the best coast.
I hope everyone's okay with that. So, hey, Sumi.
Yeah, go cool
hope
off,
your phone
Sumi.
gets better. Yeah.
And
I mean,
stop by our Nevada judges, give them a like, give them a subscribe, give them a little look-see. They've covered a lot of the chili stuff. If some of you guys know one of the other auditors, what is his name? Oh, I've forgotten his name, and he does a little dance. Doesn't matter. There's a lot of really good content over there, and he does some really interesting overlays where he gives us, he gives us a little background on the prosecutor, the defense attorney, the defendant, the judge, and it's nice. It's a
and
nice example of what an auditing situation should look like.
and the fact is that the Kim Blandino. It's
Blandino, that's it.
Blandino. Yes.
Yep.
We don't know if he'll be called exactly at 9 o'clock, so we'll have our Drunk Girl Theater going a little bit early. That way, we'll go ahead and play that. Have something to do while we're waiting for the footage from Chili. I almost said Shuggy there. I'm getting tired already. So let's go on to the next news story before I start saying Shuggy. Benson scores big in Denver settlement. As Regan Benson announced last week, the Denver City Council voted to approve a total award. Justin, last we heard, Hank is fine. Just a little rain, nothing big. He may or may not be on the Le Poop Scoop in less than an hour. Award of $130,000 to her and her husband on Monday to settle multiple civil lawsuits against the city. According to a published account by the Denverite, Benson and husband. And we're joined by Pope Phil. Hey, Pope.
I don't want to see this.
Oh, it's bad. That's why I brought you up. It's bad. Let's just power through it. It's only 2.5 minutes. Only 2.5 minutes. You can do it. You can do it, Pope. You can do it. And Brenton were awarded compensation in exchange for dismissing 2 separate lawsuits against the city. One for retaliation against the Bensons for homeless advocacy, and another for blocking Benson from attending online public citizen advisory board meetings. Correcting our previous coverage, Benson earned only $30,000 for the blockage from the online city advisory board meetings. The lawsuit was seeking Benson's reinstatement to the meetings, which were at one point being held online due to COVID restrictions, and more transparency around the meetings. Benson claimed that she'd been banned from the meetings for allegedly being disruptive and taking an attitude with members of the advisory board. The banning, according to Benson, was in retaliation for her using her First Amendment rights, and indeed saw her awarded $30,000 for her denial of entry to the meetings. The other case saw the Bensons awarded $100,000 for a 2021 incident where the Bensons were pulled over on the side of the road to film an interaction between the police and homeless individuals. Police cited Brenton Benson for blocking a roadway during the incident, which resulted in the suspension of Brenton Benson's driver's license. Brenton Benson continued to drive while his license was suspended and later picked up charges for driving without a license. An internal investigation showed that the arrest was indeed retaliatory, as the Bensons were not parked illegally or blocking the roadway. Officer John Schall, who issued the original citation, was later suspended by the Denver Metro Police Force for 10 days without pay as punishment for his actions in the incident. Benson's most recent live stream, in which she went over the lawsuits and claims in great detail, has been removed from her channel as of press time. While it did not impact the outcome of the lawsuit, it is curious that Benson removed the live stream after being awarded the settlements. In previous statements, Benson has made it clear that she will be conducting further investigations into Officer Schall, as his dismissal from the Denver Metro Police Department is a goal based on his mistreatment of her and her husband. Benson has also promised multiple lawsuits against the city of Denver for supposed retaliatory arrests last year for filming within a police facility. The activist has also apparently threatened the city of Englewood, Colorado, with a civil lawsuit over her recent arrest on charges of harassing a security guard at the Englewood Public Library. This is a developing story. Okay, you got through it, Pope. You got through it. You're okay. You're okay. No one's gonna hurt you. Shuggy may be here to snuggle you in a few minutes.
The bad lady. The bad lady.
Got $130,000
Yep.
So upsetting.
for go away.
Well, I hope
30. Go ahead.
I hope that these medium-sized settlements serve them well, because as these police departments have to pay out these stupid go-away money settlements, they're going to change the laws to make what they do illegal. And it's going to hamper everybody's First Amendment rights. It's going to hamper everybody because they wanted to make some pocket change. It's
Yep.
super frustrating.
Yep.
Welcome back, Rose.
Hold on, my speaker's not on.
We could, and then you went away.
Now, can you hear?
No, you're breaking up now. As soon as you turned the speaker on, you went crazy.
I don't know.
Okay, let's
I got you.
let's okay, let's get off this story. Let's get on to the next one. But $30,000 just because she was blocked from a chat room.
Yep.
Oh,
Sorry, what?
Yes, that was the story. Regan Benson got $30,000 for being blocked from a chat room, a government chat room.
Here's the only thing I kind of sort of rest
Like
hope
on
on
the
is that
Yes, Rose.
they won't be able to live up to the terms of the settlement.
There weren't any. There weren't
no,
any.
There are.
No.
Are.
The basically in the second case, the police officer was found to be at fault by the police.
Right.
So we'll see what the terms are, but she's claiming there's no terms.
I realize she's claiming that. I'm telling you, when there's a settlement, there are terms. So
She is claiming no NDAs, no terms, no nothing. She can say what she wants, yet she took down the live stream.
Right.
Where she went on for 2.5 hours.
Right.
Which I sat through the other day. I deserve combat pay for that.
No, you don't, because you roped me into this bullshit.
Okay, one at a time. No, I didn't rope
Rose.
you into anything. Go ahead, Rose.
I said you were trying to convince me to do that for free too, and I ain't doing that for nothing.
And on that note, let's go to the next news story. Flashback to July 9th, 2023. DeCastro's wild social media Saturday. The world of Jose Chile DeCastro was on full display on social media Saturday as he turned to Twitter to express his views on women while providing a plea to YouTube to stop demonetizing marijuana-related videos. The latter first, as DeCastro released a short video on YouTube in which observers... Guess what, folks? We just got demonetized for saying marijuana. Even though we aren't monetized yet. But I think I say it like 8 times in a row, so yeah, this video will never be monetized. Noted that his pupils were notably smaller than normal, and he was rushing his words as he put out a plea to allow monetization of marijuana-related videos. DeCastro made the argument that half of Americans actively use marijuana, and that would mean half of the potential advertisers are marijuana users, and would want to advertise on videos related to marijuana. According to the latest statistics from the National Center for Drug Abuse, while 45% of Americans have tried marijuana at least once, active users in adults is at 16.9%. DeCastro was correct in stating that half of the United States had legalized the recreational use of marijuana, and only 10 states have not decriminalized medical use of marijuana. Marijuana use is still limited to adults. Much like alcohol, and YouTube age restricts videos depicting promotion of alcohol and marijuana usage for those reasons. While age-restricted content is available for monetization, the list of advertisers who wish to pursue advertisements on age-restricted content is extremely limited. YouTube will not advertise on videos that instruct or promote illegal activities to children. Turning to DeCastro. Yes, Greg, I will cover that in the paper. He's already pre-threatening to sue her if his friends and family are not allowed in the courtroom, if she doesn't sign his favor. Let's see, that goes with like the 5 to 10 different ways he's going to sue Justice of the Peace Zimmerman. Yeah, it's just a shit show, and we'll cover it for tomorrow's paper. It's just typical Chile. It's chili bluster. DeCastro's Twitter, DeCastro spent Saturday sharing his thoughts on women in America, and strangely, YouTubers Josh Accountability for All Abrams and Dale Lackluster Hiller. Delete laws. Hashtag feminism has ruined America and American women. The women here have been brainwashed that they don't need a man, and that we all are toxic masculinity. Us men are so dumb and goofy. Lady, you helped create this culture. It's awful dating American women. Delete laws. Okay, on that one, we've got 2 American women on the panel right now. What are your thoughts about Chili's statements that you don't need a man?
Well, I don't. He is true there. I have had many men, and had a grand old time, so maybe it's just him.
What about you, Rose?
Well, the sugar daddy still isn't sugaring.
Well, the sugar daddy's got to start making money off of YouTube, or else he won't be sugaring for a while.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I had to make the joke.
Without men, the modern world would crumble around women. Women need men to survive on Earth. Period. Delete laws. Spot on. I'm currently planning my trip to South America. It's a total nightmare dating American women. A total nightmare. It's just not worth it. Delete laws. Bruh. Dale doesn't care unless it gets him views or money. Dale, I'm not done with you. When Josh's deposition tapes come out, you, as a journalist, is over. As a YouTube personality or talking head, sure. A journalist, you're not. You're a fraud, at Dale Hiller. DeCastro is currently suing Abrams as part of his Massachusetts-based federal copyright lawsuit. The lawsuit has not reached the discovery phase yet, and DeCastro has failed to state an actual claim against any of the defendants, including Abrams. So again, that was the flashback episode from last year at this time. Basically, Chili was bored, alone, didn't have Nutella to masturbate with, and so he was on Twitter for a couple of days, just tweeting about everything and saying that American women are horrible. In fact, he started sounding like Floyd Wallace.
I was just going to say,
That's what I was thinking. Yep.
When you said, I'm going to Columbia, I'm like, what is that, Floyd Wallace?
Yes, he's going to Columbia to find a woman. When we all know he's probably going to find a buddy, a pal, a Roy.
He's not gonna ever find a woman. No one's gonna put up with him for more than 3 seconds. At least my ex was able to hide crazy for 3 years. This guy can't hide it for more than 2 seconds.
And don't worry, Rose. Alanize isn't being mean. Alanize prefers the bits and pieces, so he doesn't need a lady.
I know. Me and Alan Nice play around.
He will offer a dance, though. I'll take that. I'll take that, Alanize.
Well, let's see what the next thing is. I think it's closing credits next. Or not closing credits, closing thoughts. I've got some thoughts to share with you
jeepers, people. That was a lot of news. Do you think if Alan Jackson had kept it in his pants, we wouldn't have the embarrassment of, I heard it from a friend of a friend that, like, the jury says she was not guilty or something? Did he do enough to leak to TMZ to get them off his back about the whole allegedly sleeping with his client thing? And what about poor Michael Mee? He's making mad money from a client who hates his guts. He actually had to write a defense for the guy who was banking on his alleged abysmal work in his criminal case as a reason to have the criminal case thrown out. What a conflict! Plus, Regan Benson got mad go-away money. What about that? I mean, most of us would gladly pay $130,000 to never have to hear from her again. Except maybe our Scottish friend. But what the hell, Denver? Stop relying on crooked cops to deal with her. It's not going to work. Find a way to legally shut her down, or else she's going to keep collecting the taxpayers' money because you bumbled and fumbled your way through another court case. Of course, none of that money is going to the homeless, allegedly, but it will keep her in the big bucks for the next year or so as she makes more money, more money, more money. The rich get richer and the poor get, hey, speaking of me, if I find a way to get outside of the house without dying, do you think I can get a big payoff for repression, depression, and general angst? That's it, Mother Nature. You're being sued next. On that note, we're out of here for another night. Have a happy and safe post-credit scene, and beware, the French are watching. So put some frickin' clothes on. Good night, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Okay. Well, we'll let this go and talk over it because we're playing this at the end. We're playing this at the end too.
To sue global warming or something, Jim?
I can sue Mother Nature, the deity, if I want to. She's real.
I would not recommend doing that. She is
Why?
my sister.
She's
There's
at
this
all
East
the
Coast
meetings.
guy.
Sewer
There's
in
this East Coast
Denver. Sewer in a Denver court, and you might get some go-away money.
Exactly.
Right?
That's all I want is go-away money.
There's
All I
this East
want
Coast
is-
wizard that lives in Hawaii and like sues the stars and stuff. He might be able to represent you in court. He does pro se stuff.
Well, then he can get me the mad money. I need the mad money. The mad money to buy stuff. The mad money to be a sugar daddy. And the mad
He has a wizard
money.
staff.
Ooh.
He brings his wizard staff into court because it's a religious item.
Yeah, but someone else
Cool.
used to say that he had a staff too, and I didn't believe that either.
It blocked out the sun.
Oh! Oh!
Hey!
Post-credit scene!
Good night, everybody.
Post-credit
Back
scene!
tomorrow.
Wait, post-credit scene.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Wow.
Rub those outside bones.
That's my ex's girlfriend.
Oh.
That's a girl from the ring.
Adobe stock footage.
I'm gonna get Alan Eyes to dance with me.
There we go. Look at that. They're shaking things. Shake your bacon, allies.
Shake your money maker. Shake your money maker.
Look at him.
That means back. Yes, we're doomed.
We're doomed. And that was it. We made it through our first
Good night.
watch party. How'd everybody like that one?
Yay!
Oh my god, I'm scared.
Well, it didn't
These
blow
will
up
be-
in the atmosphere, so that's good.
Rock of Love.
It didn't
2?
implode.
Yes, Rock of Love. You didn't know about the Rock of Love too?
I don't know what
Oh.
Rock of Love is.
Rock of Love
Oh,
was
the
one of the.
homeschooling. The homeschooling.
Yeah, she didn't see VH1 in the early 2000s where they did all of these bachelor style shows, but with like D-level celebrities. So Rock of Love,
Mm-hmm.
that was with the guy from Motley
Bret
Crue,
Michael.
wasn't it?
Bret
Brett
Michael.
Michael. Okay. So yeah, he was a rocker from the 80s, and he had all these girls to have sex. I mean, to pick from, to
my
be
God.
his woman.
As many girls as he owns headscarves.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes.
It's wonderful.
Yeah. It was one of the many things. And From the Couch, one of my favorite YouTube channels, actually looks at all of these stuff. They look at the Surreal Life, which is also a blast from the past. They're looking at the Brady one right now with where Peter Brady and what's her name fell in love. It also had Mini-Me on that one, and China from the WWE. That's a good one. Anyway,
Memorial Graveyard of the Dead.
Any final thoughts from us? Let's go around the panel because we'll be back in about a half an hour. Hey! Any final thoughts from our panel? Let's start with Rose.
I am very concerned for my mental well-being here.
Okay. Okay, don't worry. I'll put you in front of a TV playing The Surreal Life over and over and over. You'll love the one with Corey Feldman on it.
Ooh, I love Corey Feldman.
He did
Especially as
one.
a rock and roll artist.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Ow.
What's wrong with the kids today?
Corey Feldman was on one with, I think it was Eric Estrada and Can't Touch This. What's his name?
MC
Bobby
Hammer?
Brown.
Hammer.
MC Hammer. Yes.
MC Hammer, yeah.
Yeah, I know
Yes.
that.
So some chips, some Hammer, and some Feldman. Oh man, that's like a plate of nachos I want to eat.
Oh God.
I prefer to bake the cake, Alan Ice. I prefer to bake the cake.
Okay, Pope, your closing thoughts says we have half an hour till we're right back.
I hate you.
You're welcome. And Verbo, your closing thoughts.
Let us know in the Discord how you like this format. Does it work for you? Does how did you enjoy this evening? And we will respond accordingly.
And remember, you can watch.
If you don't like lettuce, you can arugula us.
Ouch. And if you want to see the original file we were watching, it's released over on our YouTube channel right now. You can watch the whole thing in the magic of 4K. 4K! So on that note... This is why I muted it the last time.
God, it's not 5K, it's for the Illuminati mode.
Get those dancing shoes on, Alan.
Remember to tune in for Le Poop Scoop in about 20 or 34 minutes. Drunk Girl Theater tomorrow at noon, special time.
Unless there's a live hearing